moisturize, oils don't moisturize. Water moisturizes and oil seals. I feel like there's so much debate over what moisturizes and what doesn't. And what I've learned is it doesn't matter because there's conflicting definitions about what moisture is. What really matters is hydration. And so today I'm going to talk about moisture and hydration, what they each are, and why hydration is important. Hey y'all, my name is Dasha. I'm also known as the Hair Doula, and there has been so much controversy both on my page and on other people's pages about whether or not to use oils. I've been noticing a trend in my comment section under my video about why oils are killing your natural hair. People saying, well, oils, they moisturize my hair. They make my hair feel this way. When I don't use oils, my hair feels dry. So today I want to clear up a couple things and make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of how we are defining moisture. And I'm going to switch up the verbiage that I use from now on just to avoid any kind of confusion. I have notes here for y'all, so I will be checking those on occasion, and let's just jump right in. Okay, so first I want to define moisture and I want to define hydration. So let's jump into moisture first. Now, although this is not the actual textbook definition of moisture, what I've noticed is that when people are saying moisture in relation to their hair, what they actually mean is that their hair feels soft to the touch. So they're essentially saying that their hair is lubricated. It's malleable, maybe. I'm gonna allow that to live just because that's how it's commonly used, even though that is not the textbook definition. So oftentimes when women are talking about our hair and we say that our hair is dry, we're saying it doesn't feel soft to the touch. That doesn't actually mean that your hair is dry, but it does not feel moisturized, which in the natural hair community is basically it doesn't feel like it's soft and smooth and lubricated. So that is moisture. The word that I am going to start using, and also something actually that I want to say before moving on, is moisture then, if we're thinking about it that way, is very surface level. It's about how your hair feels on the surface. As we know, the surface tells a small fraction of the story. Very small. Just like your skin tells a small portion about what's going on with your whole body. Okay. Now, what is arguably, everything apparently is arguable. What is, in my opinion, in my thought process, and what I've heard from my stylists and other curl specialists that I've spoken with, is that hydration is what is really important and what oftentimes we are lacking when we're just trying to focus on moisture. So what is hydration? The literal definition of hydration is the process of causing something to absorb water. Water is necessary for hydration. Water is the only thing that can hydrate something. When you're hydrating your body, you can drink all kinds of stuff. You can drink soda, you can drink tea. Water is what hydrates your body, ultimately. And water is what hydrates your hair. So now that we have those definitions, now that we understand, what moisture means when we're commonly referring to it and what hydration is, the next question is, why is hydration important? Why do we care about hydration, especially if hydration is not necessarily what makes our hair feel soft and feel the way that we want it to feel? Hydration is important for three main reasons in my book. Reason number one, when your hair is hydrated, it is less likely to break. So I've done this example in a previous video, but think about a noodle, a pasta noodle, a dry pasta noodle. When that pasta noodle is still dry, when you're taking it out of the pack, you literally just go like this, boop, and it snaps. You don't have to do anything to it. But once that piece of pasta is hydrated, you can bend it all like this. You can go boing, boing, boing with it a little bit. It is more difficult to break when it is hydrated. So our hair works the same way. When our hair is hydrated, then it is less breakage prone. The second reason that hydration is important is because hydrated hair is more defined. Now I know oftentimes people are going for the really defined look. They want their curls to pop. What causes your curls to pop is the fact that they are hydrated. You know how you see someone revert their hair from straight to curly? Their hair was in a dehydrated state when it was straight, because you know, if you add water, which is hydration, to straight hair, then your hair reverts. So when your hair is in a straight state, you know, people avoid hydration so that it doesn't revert. So when your hair is hydrated, it curls up. That's how you get the definition. So if you really want to have a pop and wash and go, and you really want that definition, then you need hydrated hair, if that's the look that you're going for. If you're going for straight hair, then really nothing that I am saying probably in any of my videos apply to you, because I do not straighten my hair, and the only heat that I use on my hair is the hooded dryer when I am drying my wash and goes, when I'm setting my hair, and that's it. So if you're someone who wears your hair straight, don't come to me for straight hair advice is really all I have to say, because this doesn't apply. Not for it in its straight state, only for when you're wearing it in its curly state. So, you know, you can wash if you wear your hair curly as well. The third reason that hydration is important, and this answers a question that I've been getting a lot. Well, how do I keep my hair moisturized? How do I keep my hair hydrated? People use the word moisturized, but they're really asking me, how do they keep their hair hydrated? Hydrated hair tends to hold on to water longer, and therefore it stays hydrated more effectively. Longer and more effectively. The easiest example that I have of this, I'm a very visual person, so you're gonna hear me using a lot of visual examples, is a sponge. When a sponge is like bone dry, it's so hard to get it to do its job and suck up water. And you would think that because the sponge is so dry, it's got so much room for so much water, but that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. The sponge needs to be wet first, and then, you know, you can wring it out to get the excess water out, and then that wet sponge absorbs so much more water than the dry sponge would, because the dry sponge was just like stiff. It was like petrified. It couldn't do anything. And our hair is the same way. Because we've been using so many practices that don't really work well for what we're trying to achieve, our hair is dehydrated like that dry sponge. And so when we do finally give it water, you know, every month when we're washing it, or taking out our protective style and washing it, or every 2 weeks after it's been dry already for a week, it can't even effectively suck up the moisture that you're trying to offer it at that point, because it's been so dry for far too long. And so if you really want your hair to stay hydrated longer, then you need to hydrate it more often and more effectively. You can start going longer in between wash days and things like that once you get your hair to a hydrated state, but until your hair's in that hydrated state, it's like that dry sponge that just cannot absorb water. So that is the third reason that hydration is important. The last thing I want to talk about is, how do we hydrate effectively? Like, okay, I understand that hydration is important. So now what I need to do to make sure that I am hydrating effectively? That's a great question. In order to answer that a little bit more fully, I first want to explain that the structure of the hair is 3 layers. Some people have 2, but unless your hair is really, really fine, your hair has 3 layers. There's the cuticle, which is like the scales, the scaly part that you always hear about that's on the outside of the hair. There's the cortex underneath that, and then there's the medulla. The goal is to get water into that cortex layer of your hair. And the short answer to how do we do that is by eliminating products that repel water, especially if you're someone who has low porosity hair, which unless you have colored your hair and lightened it, or unless your hair is heat damaged, then more than likely you have medium to low, somewhere on that spectrum, porosity hair. And so you want to minimize products that are going to stay on your hair and repel water, such as oils and butters, which is why I do not recommend putting raw oils and butters on your hair. That's not to say that when you use products, there won't be any oils and butters in them, but I would recommend that oils and butters are not in the first 5 to 7 ingredients of those products, ideally, especially as you're working to hydrate your hair from being dehydrated. We're basically trying to reverse the damage that we've done to our hair. I'm still working on reversing the damage that I did to my hair by using a bunch of oils and having to retrain my hair to be hydrated, basically. I mean, it wasn't something that happened overnight, and it's not gonna be an overnight fix, and that's the case for all of us. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not super educated on Afro texture hair. And so we get a lot of misinformation and a lot of people just trying to sell us stuff because they know that our hair industry is lucrative. Okay, like money. I got money everywhere. And they know we got them coins and they know we're willing to spend them on our hair. So they tell us they tell us what we want to hear. They tell us what we think we know so that they can sell us products that they make, is really what it comes down to. And I don't care how much backlash I get, I'm gonna keep talking about it because it's important. It's very important to me. So anyways, I hope that answered some of your questions about the other video that I made regarding oils and regarding, how to properly moisturize your hair. I'm gonna be going into more detail. Like, I don't want to make any of these videos too ridiculously long. So I'm just taking bite-sized pieces and trying to go into details with those bite-sized pieces. So bear with me and keep letting me know what you want to see more of and what questions you have, because that definitely helps me to figure out what I need to share with y'all and what kinds of videos that I need to make. So let me know if this was helpful, if you got anything from this video, if this cleared anything up, or if it created more questions. That's all I have for y'all today. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with a friend who you think also would benefit from this information. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye.